You guys are sleeping. It's time to get woke.
That's our time.
What's up, everybody? I am Bernard Boo. This is WrestleBoo, and today I'm talking about the 15 most slept-on superstars in WWE. Now, there are a lot of performers on all three brands who have a lot of hype surrounding them, whether they be on Raw and SmackDown in that upper tier or on NXT, working their way up from the bottom. Lots of superstars who have a lot of attention on them and fans are really buzzing about, but those aren't the wrestlers that I'm talking about today. Today I'm talking about slept-on superstars who I think have a lot of potential to be great in this business, in this company, but aren't getting a lot of fan attention or fan buzz. They aren't getting that hype. So without further ado, here are my top 15 slept-on superstars in WWE. At number 15 from 205 Live, we've got Drew Gulak. Now, this is a guy who I was a big fan of on the independent scene. He had this really kind of rugged, manly in-ring style where he had that joint manipulation stuff going on, and he was a really good chain wrestler, but also had kind of a bruiser edge to him. And now, I was impressed with him on the indies, but I think in 205 Live, and most importantly, when he was paired for a short time with Enzo Amore on Monday Night Raw, he showed a side of him that I hadn't seen before. He's a really good talker, super good on the mic, and he has a really nicely, fully realized character on 205 Live right now. I think he's found a nice balance between his sort of politician gimmick that he was working with for a while and that old, kind of rugged beat-em-up style that he used to have on the indies. I'm really excited to see where Drew Gulak takes his career because I think he could actually do really well on the main roster. He's not like a super small cruiserweight. I think he could move up to the main roster if they wanted to do that with him. But yeah, let's see. Maybe he'd be a good trainer in the back in the future. Maybe that's the path for him. At number 14, we have NXT's TM61, the Australian tag team who made a name for themselves on the independent circuit as TMDK, the Mighty Don't Kneel. Now, this team has been one of my favorite teams for a long time on that indie circuit and in Japan and Australia because they have such a great dynamic, not just in the way that they move and work with each other in the ring, but in the fact that their styles are different. Like Nick Miller's the straight man of the team, right? He's like a straightforward kind of wrestler, but Shane Thorne, he's the crazy man, right? He does all these risky things in the ring. He's fearless. And even on the microphone, they project these characters, right? Nick Miller's more of just like a normal dude. Not a normal dude, but like the sensible one. And Shane Thorne is the wild one. He says like crazy stuff and he's super entertaining. These guys just feel like they're fun people to hang out with. I get that sense from them when I see them in the ring and on the mic. They just seem like guys you'd want to hang out with, I guess. And I think over the next few months, these guys are really going to impress that NXT audience. And when they do make it up to that main roster, I believe they're going to make a splash. At number 13, also from NXT, we have Vanessa Bourne. Now, we haven't seen a lot of this girl, and they haven't really been pushing her as, a prominent talent on NXT, but they're doing a slow burn with her, which I really like. I don't know if many fans are taking notice of how good this girl really is, but she's a freak, man. She's one of the best athletes on that roster. She's so strong. There's this workout video that she showed I think it's on WWE.com or maybe on the network, where she's just lifting weights like nobody's business. I think she's kind of bragging in a good way on that video about how she's the best in the weight room as far as the women's division. And I'm really impressed by her in the ring as well. She's got a really great physicality, super violent. I like when the girls get super violent. Sometimes I feel like the women wrestlers that I don't like kind of look a little sometimes it looks like they're dancing as opposed to fighting. I like women and men who look like they're in a real fight in the ring, and Vanessa Bourne has that quality to her. She has a great look as well. I love that hair. At number 12, we have NXT's Oney Lorcan. Now, this is a guy who used to be known as Biff Busick on the independent scene. I've been a big fan of him for a long time because I love his in-ring style. He's so nasty. He really looks like he's beating the crap out of his opponents when he's in there, and he looks like he enjoys it. It seems like there's a competitive streak to him as a performer, as a pro wrestler, and he's one of those guys that kind of seems to push whoever he's in that ring with and push them to be at their best and move faster, move harder, work more, brutally. At number 11, we're sticking with NXT, still on NXT. I swear I didn't plan it this way, but Lars Sullivan, NXT's Lars Sullivan. This guy, while he has been getting a pretty good spotlight on NXT, I don't think fans realize how special Lars Sullivan is. This guy's look is one of the most distinctive, memorable looks for a superstar in recent memory for me. He's got a terrific look, and on top of all that, he's got that great entrance too. I love that entrance where they just show his kind of silhouette, blacked out by the light behind him, and he looks as tall as a skyscraper. I love the production on NXT in general. But anyways, Lars Sullivan is really good in the ring. For how short he's been in the ring and training, I like watching his matches. He's not perfect. I mean, I'm not a wrestler. I don't know about his mechanics, but as far as him being entertaining, sometimes it seems like he doesn't know what he's doing in there, but as a whole, when he comes out there to that ring, I'm watching. I'm watching intently, and I can't say that about a lot of these young, up-and-coming superstars. I think his ceiling is like just sky high. I don't know if that's a weird metaphor. His ceiling is sky high. That doesn't make sense. At number 10, we've got 205 Live's Mustafa Ali. This guy can do anything in the ring. He's so agile, so nimble. I love his moveset. I love that rolling DDT thing he does from the apron. I love the 054 splash, that reverse 450 splash he does off the top rope. This guy is so likable too. I don't know, there's something about him that he projects that you also want to be his friend. But also, he's of Pakistani descent, and that's important to me because typically when you see someone who's brown on WWE programming, they're portrayed as a heel. I mean, that's just, WWE feeds into that ugly, side of patriotism that a lot of WWE fans gravitate towards and make their Middle Eastern characters or their Asian characters or Latino characters heels from the outset. But here, that's not the case. Mustafa Ali, they've been handling really well, making him a babyface. He's one of my favorite guys on that 205 Live roster. At number 9, we've got Victor, one half of the Ascension tag team on Monday Night Raw. Now, I understand why fans would sleep on this guy. He's a part of a tag team that's been buried since they've been called up to the main roster. But on NXT, this tag team was on fire. They were so dominant, so popular. They were a heel tag team that was so over that the fans started cheering them. It was one of those deals. These guys were so good on that brand, haven't been treated well since coming up to the main rosters. But Victor, in particular, he's fine, but Victor, he's really good at the ring. If you just watch how he moves in there and his moveset, those flying knees and the kicks and how athletic he is, he's sick, dude. And he's also, I think he's the last graduate of the Heart Dungeon, which is crazy that we've got someone who's trained at the Heart Dungeon wrestling on one of these WWE main rosters. But Victor from the Ascension, don't sleep on this guy. Keep an eye on him. At number 8, I've got Sarah Logan from the Riot Squad. Riot Squad's been actually making a pretty decent splash on the main roster. They first appeared on SmackDown. Now they're on Raw, and they do good, like, awesome heel faction beatdowns. I think that there's an art to that, an art to the heel beatdown, and these three girls do a really good job of it. Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, and Sarah Logan. But Sarah Logan is my favorite of the bunch. I've been watching her since she was on NXT I think she was in NXT for like 2 years or something, and wasn't really used on NXT actually, but then she came up to the main roster. She's doing big stuff now. She's really tough, right? Like she's from the country. She's a real country girl. She grew up, hunting for her own food and learned survival skills from her family, and it shows it in her in-ring style, right? She brings that point of life experience into her character. I really like her. I think her physicality's up there. She's a bigger girl for the division, which I think I like when they have bigger girls. It's a nice contrast to the skinnier, smaller girls in the division. So Sarah Logan, she's going to be a problem moving forward. At number 7 is Aiden English, half of Rusev Day, the not quite tag team. He's really the manager of Rusev right now, but Aiden English, while Rusev has been getting a lot of hype around him right now for that act, Aiden English is a big part of that act, and actually the reason I think he's slept on is that I think he's actually a better wrestler than Rusev. Aiden English Rusev's great. Rusev's great. I'm not knocking Rusev. I love watching Rusev. I think, he deserves to be in the main event. He's that good. But Aiden English, he's sick, dude. If you watch a lot of his matches from NXT when he was in the tag team, the Vaudevillains with Simon Gotch, he's capable of like crazy stuff in that ring. And not only is his offense cool, but his selling is really cool too. And obviously he's good on the mic. We've all seen that now. He knows how to create a character and, kind of dig out a space for himself on that main roster. So this guy's got all the tools. I'm looking forward to seeing if when they break up English and Rusev, if Aiden English gets a big push, I think he would be beneficial to that company if they gave him that single spot. At number 6, and I can't believe I'm saying this, I've got Tino Sabatelli from NXT. I hated this guy. I really did. He was one of the... I never really say that about wrestlers. Like, I think that's kind of inflammatory and a little, I don't know, overly provocative when wrestling fans say, I hate him or I hate her. That's a strong word. I hated Tino Sabatelli. I thought that he shouldn't be in this business. It seemed like he was just an ex-football player who was coming in to get famous or something, and he was really bad in the ring. Even me as a non-wrestler could tell that he was bad in the ring because, he would hurt people in there. But, man, over the past several months, in this tag team with Riddick Moss, I don't know if they had a tag team name, but they were these like cocky, rich dudes who came from like professional athlete backgrounds and just came to whatever the pro wrestling world trying to make a dime. Like I said, like that was my perception of him in real life, and they turned that into a character, and it's really working for me now. I like him. I like him as a heel. He gets really big reactions from the crowd, and he's okay in the ring now. He's his skills will suffice. And the reason I think he's really slept on is that, like The Miz for so many years, I don't think fans have caught on to the fact that he's playing all of us. Like that, the reason that I hated him and so many people hated him, that he's a professional football player that doesn't deserve to be in a pro wrestling ring, he's using that. And I think people has genuine heat because people really think that he doesn't care about wrestling, which I'm sure now, after all this time watching him, I'm sure he does. He's worked really hard. He sucked at first, and now he's improved so much. I don't think you can make that much improvement without caring about the craft of professional wrestling. So Tino Sabatelli, maybe a character change is in order for him. Maybe not. Maybe they can keep going with this arrogant rich guy thing. But either way, I think he has a lot of potential now. Can't believe I'm saying it. My number 5 pick is SmackDown Live General Manager Paige. Now, I know that's kind of a strange pick, but let me explain. We all know her story. She got injured a few months ago by Sasha Banks on accident at a WWE live event shortly after she made her in-ring return, and as a result, she had to retire from in-ring action. Super sad. But the WWE kept her on that company payroll and moved her to SmackDown Live in a speaking role, but Paige, has been earning those paychecks. The reason why I think she's slept on right now is that I don't think fans realize how much she adds to that program. She is so good as the general manager. She adds a different vibe to that show. Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon did a great job in this role, but Paige, because she has that connection with the fans, and because we all think she's so cool and stuff, and she comes out there, like she comes out to announce the matches for the night, and people are they're into just seeing her. Like they love her. They feel sympathy for her because she had to retire early. But also, she's just cool as hell, man. She's a cool ass chick, and I think she gives SmackDown Live kind of an edge, like this vibe of an edgier program than Raw. Her delivery's really good too. I kind of forgot how good Paige is on the mic. Her delivery's clean. She doesn't say a lot of uhs and ums like I do when I'm talking on camera. That's a really tough skill to develop, and she is smooth as butter on there. And I love her deep voice too. I'm a big fan of deep voices for some reason right now. She and Samoa Joe are just my two of my favorites right now. But anyways, Paige is making that SmackDown Live show so much better. She's contributing as much as any in-ring performer. So props to Paige, and I think people need to stop sleeping on her skill. She's one of the best talkers in the company right now. And let's wake up, man. Give Paige her props. At number 4, I've got NXT's Otis Dozovic. Now, from the moment I saw this guy, I was kind of in awe, flabbergasted that this was an actual human being. He's built so weird. He's like wide and thick is maybe like an understatement for this guy. He's a human wrecking ball in the ring. He's super quick for his size, but he still uses his weight and his size to his advantage, right? He's athletic, but he still makes sure to remind you that he's heavy. And his opponents have a lot to do with that as well, the way they sell his moves. But anyways, I love his in-ring work, and I love his character work, not just on the microphone. He's really fun on the microphone. Like, you can tell he's, the life of the party wherever he goes. But in the ring, the thing that a lot of superstars don't have is that maybe they're good in the ring and they're good on the mic, but when they're in the ring, their work doesn't reflect their character, right? Like, they're a good wrestler, but the way they move in the ring and the way they tell stories in the ring has nothing to do with their microphone character. I think that's like a big problem for a lot of up-and-coming talents. Otis Dozovic is the same guy in the ring as he is on the mic. He's just, he's getting the party started, everyone's cheering for him because he's like that fat beer-chugging guy at the frat party, right? He's so much fun to watch in there, and I think when he goes singles, inevitably, he's going to make a big splash on that main roster. No one is really quite like him, and he's got a skill set that no one else has right now either. I think people are sleeping on how good he is at creating his character, at embodying his character. My number 3 pick for most slept on superstar isn't a superstar at all. It's kind of a cheat, like my page pick, but it's Byron Saxton. It's one of SmackDown Live's 3 commentators alongside Tom Phillips and the great Corey Graves. Byron Saxton is so improved over the past several years, and the reason I think people are sleeping on him is that, man, if you listen to his commentating now, he's like the perfect companion to Tom Phillips and Corey Graves. Like, he has his own voice. I think his problem before was that he had this kind of voice that was similar to Michael Cole's and similar to Tom Phillips, where it was just like this kind of straight-laced, sports commentator guy, and he didn't really stand out. Now he's got a little bit of humor there. He's self-deprecating. Corey Graves loves making fun of him, and because he recognizes that, he tosses up these softballs for Corey Graves to just hit out of the park all throughout the program. He's very savvy. He's a savvy commentator, and you never think about, he doesn't make flubs really anymore like he used to, and he makes that SmackDown Live show really easy to watch, along with his partners there. But Byron Saxton, undervalued, and I think soon, hopefully, people are going to start realizing how good this guy really is in that booth. My number 2 most slept on superstar is Carl Anderson, one half of the Good Brothers / Club tag team alongside Luke Gallows, who is no slouch himself. But Carl Anderson in particular, I don't think a lot of fans in WWE, or WWE fans, I should say, know how big of a deal this guy is. He's as good in the ring as anybody, as any of the AJ Styleses and Shinsuke Nakamura's of the world. He's just as good and spectacular as those guys. He's got every ounce of him is as good. Even on the mic, he's probably better than AJ and better than Shinsuke Nakamura. That's kind of a strange comparison. But anyways, speaking of Shinsuke Nakamura, Carl Anderson and Shinsuke had some classic matches in New Japan Pro Wrestling and on the independent circuit. These guys had barn burners. I mean, these are classics that New Japan fans still talk about. Back then, he was dubbed the Machine Gun Carl Anderson. It was such a cool moniker, and he really lived up to that moniker. He was so quick, and he hit hard in that ring. I love his in-ring style. He has the agility kind of a lighter guy, but he's actually pretty big. He can kind of go blow for blow with heavyweights if he wants to. And he's got a great look, super sharp, and he's always in shape. And also, he's funny. He's funny as hell, man. Like him and Luke Gallows, if you just listen to them on their old podcast, Talkin' Shop, or I think they're on Chris Jericho's podcast from time to time. These guys are funny as hell, and when you get glimpses of that on SmackDown Live, it's just super entertaining. The nerd thing and them doing impressions and stuff. Carl Anderson has got it all. He's a complete package, and while I love the Good Brothers tag team, I would love to see him strike it out on his own, and let's get some awesome matches with guys like Shinsuke and Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins versus Carl Anderson, that would be a dream match for me, actually. People are sleeping on the Machine Gun. My number 1 most slept on superstar in WWE is Mojo Rawley. People are sleeping on this guy. They don't get how good he could be. I think it was at the Greatest Royal Rumble? No, it was at WrestleMania during the Andre the Giant Battle Royal when Jim Ross, good old JR, said during that match that Mojo Rawley has no idea how good he is and that he could be one of the greats in the business. I don't think that was an overstatement. Mojo Rawley, when I look at this guy, when I look at him do anything, like on camera in any capacity, I just see a superstar, man. I see a main event player there. He's got that look. I've said on this channel before, I love how when he knocks his opponents down, he towers over them and hunches his shoulders and said, in this condescending manner. We all know guys like this, football players. He was in the NFL, but we've seen, from high school, football player bullies who kind of like knock someone down and kind of, exercise their manliness over them. He's an alpha male. He is a tough dude, and he's scary too, and he's athletic. He's not the most cut guy, but he's got functional muscles. His personality, that kind of alpha male personality, that dominating personality, comes out in his ring work, right? I love that quality in a wrestler, and I don't think anyone kind of exudes that on this list more than Mojo Rawley. Is he the best technical wrestler? No. Do I give a shit? No, because he's entertaining. I don't care how you do it in that ring. If you're entertaining, that's all I need. I don't need you to be able to do like awesome looking hammerlocks and cool submissions I've never seen before, right? Mojo Rawley, I could watch him tackle people all day. Thank you guys so much for watching. What did you think of my picks? Let me know in the comments. If you like this video, give me a like, give me a subscribe, and if you have any friends who are wrestling fans, send them my way. Share this or any of my other videos with them. I took a bit of a hiatus for a little over a week because my day job got really busy. I'm a film critic by trade, and a lot of awesome movies are coming out. Deadpool 2, Solo, and this Anton Chekhov screen adaptation called The Seagull. All three of those movies are super solid. You guys should see all of those. I have no problem recommending those. But anyways, that's why I took a hiatus. I was so busy with my film critic work. But now I'm back. I'm going to keep making videos on a continuous basis. I am Bernard Boo. This is WrestleBoo, and I'll see y'all next time.